So your goal for this video is I can convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to flop from improper fractions to mixed numbers and mixed numbers back to improper fractions. I will say that one is easier to do than the other, but I will show you how to do both of them. All right, so just a quick review before we get started. What does an improper fraction look like and what does a mixed number look like? So 10 over 4 is going to be an improper fraction because the top, the numerator, is bigger than the bottom, the denominator. 5 1/3 is a mixed number because we have that big whole number in the front. 3 1/2 is a mixed number because, again, we have that big whole number in the front. 50 over 8 is an improper fraction because we have a bigger numerator than the denominator. 11 over 4 is an improper fraction because we have a bigger numerator than the denominator. 4 1/7 is a mixed number because we have that big whole number in the front, but also the numerator is smaller than the denominator. 2 4/5 is a mixed number because we have the whole number in the front. 9/5 is an improper fraction because the top is bigger than the bottom, the numerator is bigger than the denominator. 5/4 is an improper fraction, the numerator is bigger than the denominator. 7/4 is an improper fraction, again the top is bigger than the bottom. 1 1/4 is a mixed number because we have that whole number out in front. 2 1/3 is a mixed number because we have that whole number out in front. 29/7 is an improper fraction because the top is bigger than the bottom. Again, that numerator is bigger. And 49ths is an improper fraction because the top, the numerator, is bigger than the denominator. Okay, so that was just a real quick review. I do have another quick review. It's just a little game that we can play. So let's see. Let's go ahead and reset it real quick. Let's see if the game is going to work for us. Maybe. Come on, game. Alright, the game's not going to work for us, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is talk about how we go from mixed numbers to improper fractions. And this is the easier one of the two. And what I have here is I have the steps on the left and I have a picture of it on the right of the process. Okay, so step 1, okay, and here's our mixed numbers. So we have 4 1/2, okay, which is right here. Step 1 is we're going to take this whole number, okay, this whole number 4, and we're going to multiply the whole number by the denominator. So we're going to multiply 4 times 2. See here how they're multiplying 4 times 2. There's a multiplication sign there, okay? And 4 times 2 is 8, okay? Easy enough, right? Step 2 now. You're going to take that 8 and you're going to add that product, okay, because 8 is the product. You're going to add that to the numerator. So the numerator, let me switch colors again, is the 1 up here. So you're going to take that 8 and add it to the 1. So here's the plus sign right here. So 8 plus 1 is 9, okay? And look at that. Here is your 9. Now, that 9 has become your new numerator. Now you keep the same denominator from before and you're done. So if you want to think about it quicker, you multiply the bottom, add the top, keep the denominator. Okay, it's multiply, add, and then keep the denominator. Okay? So let's do a couple practice ones here. Okay, and it helps me, by the way, if I write out the symbols, but you do whatever's best for you. So I'm going to put a little time symbol here. So 9 times 5, and I even write the answer here, is 45. And then I write 45 plus 4 is 49. Fraction bar, and then I keep the same bottom. And that's my answer right there. Okay? Is that right? 45. Is that right? 45 plus 9. 49. Yep. Okay, good. Sorry, I got confused. Okay, so then here we have 3 and 2 over 7. So I'm going to draw a little multiplication sign here. So 3 times 7 is 21. And now I'm going to do a plus sign. 21 plus 2 is 23. And then my fraction bar, I'm going to keep my same bottom. So my answer is 23 over 7. Okay, now here I have 4 and 2/3. So I'm going to do my multiplication sign. 3 times 4 is 12. Now I'm going to do a plus sign. 12 plus 2 is 14. Fraction bar, 3 at the bottom. That's my final answer. Okay, now if you're watching this video at home in class, we would stop and I have a couple practice problems that are pasted in your worksheet. And so if you're doing this video at home, I'll give you those practice problems when you get back to class. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going with the next part of this now, okay? But please know I do have some more practice problems for you. So now let me show you the opposite. So this one is a little more complicated. So there's a division way to do this, a more sophisticated mathematical way, and that's the way I'm going to show you first. And then there's a similar way to do it that's a little bit more mental math that I also want to show you, okay? So now what's going to happen is I'm going to give you an improper fraction, okay? And the improper fraction I'm going to give you is 144 over 5, and I need you to change that into a mixed number for me, okay? So remember that a fraction is really a division problem because this fraction bar here, remember that a fraction bar is one way to show division, right? Okay, so step 1 is you're going to divide the numerator by the denominator, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're literally going to set yourself up a division problem, a long division problem, just like that, okay? And if you are familiar with the hangman method from elementary school, that will work perfectly fine as well. If you're more familiar with the long division method, which is what I do in class, that is perfectly fine as well. Okay, I'm going to do the long division because I'm not too familiar with the hangman, but the hangman will work perfectly fine as well. Okay, so either way, what you're going to do is you are going to completely solve this problem using division, whether you use hangman or long division, okay? And I have the problem solved right here. Now, at the end of it, you're going to have an answer up top, and you're going to have a remainder at the bottom, okay? Now, your answer up top, in this case, 28, is your now new whole number in your mixed number. Okay, the remainder is your numerator, and you always keep from up here the same denominator, just like that. Okay, now this right here is a division problem, and it's not hard. There are some people who hate doing division, and that's not a problem. So I want to show you more of a mental math way to think about it if this works for you. Okay. So think about it this way. In your head, think how many times does 5 go into 144? And you may need to sit there and multiply it out several times. And eventually you're going to come up with it goes in 28 times. Okay? And if I do 28 times 5, I'm going to get 40 there, and I'm going to get 140 here. Okay? And so what's the difference between 144 and 140? 4. That's my top, and I keep my same bottom. Okay, now 144 over 5 is a pretty large number, and we will work with large numbers like that sometimes, but not most of the time. So let's go ahead and practice some of these. So here we have 8 over 3, and I'm going to show you both ways, okay? And I actually want to show you the mental math way first. So how many times does 3 go into 8? Okay, well, it goes in twice, okay, right? It goes in twice, and 3 times 2 is 6. So what's the difference between 8 and 6? 2, and then you keep your same bottom. But now let me show you the division way, right? So 8 divided by 3, it goes in 2 times, 6, 2. So this is your whole number right here. This is your new numerator right here. And that's your denominator right there. Okay? Now let me show you this guy. How many times can you put 6 into 41? Well, it can go in 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Well, what's the difference between 41 and 36? It's 5. And then you keep your same bottom. Okay? But let me also show you the actual division way. And again, remember, I am not too familiar with the hangman, though I know that people do like it. Okay? So this is going to be this guy. This is going to be this guy. And this is going to be this guy right there. Okay? I do it the mental math way. However, when I first learned it, I started out doing it the long division way. Okay? Let's do these other two, and I'm going to keep showing you both ways. So how many times does 3 go into 13? Well, it goes in 4 times because 3 times 4 is 12. So what's the difference between 12 and 13? 1. And then I keep my same bottom. Okay? But let me also show you the long division way. How many times does 3 go into 13? 4, 12, 1. That guy goes there. This guy goes here. And that's your numerator. Okay? Let me show you here. How many times does 7 go into 18? Goes in 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. What's the difference between 18 and 14? 4. And I keep my same bottom. 7. But let me also show you the long division way. And essentially, you may not know it, but when you are doing the mental math, you're essentially doing that long division problem in your head. There you go. Okay? Now again, if you're watching this video at home, I do have some practice problems that we are doing in class, so I can give those to you when you get back to class. Okay? And that is the end of this lesson. I will say this lesson is maybe one of the most important lessons. When we do IXL with fractions, IXL will only accept answers in a proper fraction being something like this with a small numerator, okay, or in a mixed number like this. They will not take an improper fraction. So you do need to know how to change from improper back to mixed numbers. On tests and quizzes, I'm going to be very specific in directions sometimes, and I'm going to ask you for one or the other because I need you to understand how to flip-flop between both of them. So make sure you ask me any questions you have.